Call the meeting to order. Everyone please stand. Councilman Moore is going to deliver the invocation.
Bow our heads, please. Oh, Lord, thank you for the rains you've given us. We need it for our nourishment of our soul. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this board. Thanks for people who come tonight and listen to this board meeting. Let's do your will. In Jesus Christ's name, pray, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
You join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Smith is absent tonight because he has a very important birthday that he's celebrating. His twin boys. He's got his hands full. I'd like to welcome everyone. Item 5 on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, there's no one for recognition. All right, I believe we do have the introduction of one new employee.
Mayor, members of the board, I'd like to introduce Mr. Justin Stargard. He's a graduate of ECU. He just finished a program, the 4-year program at ECU for criminal justice, and he did that in May. And now he's spending the summer with us for his internship, and we're glad to have him because we've got him doing a lot of paperwork. So, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I am Justin, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve and learn, and it's been a great experience thus far. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Where are you originally from?
Richmond, Virginia, sir.
I understand this young man is a Marine.
Yes, sir.
Hoorah.
We won't hold it again.
It certainly shows, too.
Yes, it does.
In a good way.
That's what I understand.
We welcome you and just be safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. Under item 8 is presentation. Looks like Brad's on.
Brad.
So tonight I just wanted to do a short presentation because as you've probably noticed around the room, we've got a couple cameras now. So we're now actually streaming the meeting live. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we're actually streaming the media live, and I have a short presentation here I want to give you and just tell you what's going on and what we've tried to accomplish here. I promise not to take long. So Mr. Brian Arp, he's not here tonight, and I was kind of hoping he was going to be able to be here for the meeting, but he worked with us also on this, and I just wanted to make sure you knew that he had a large part of it.
He's on his honeymoon, right?
He is on his honeymoon. And he should be back tomorrow, actually, so we'll start working again. So a while back, the town council requested that we look at some alternative ways to provide the citizens with more access. So we've been trying to do that. First, we upgraded the website, and we provided content management, gave it back to the departments, and let them update that information a little bit more readily. And then we began looking into ways to supplement the audio and video of the meetings here. We had several different software packages and delivery methods that we investigated at that time, and we based our assessments on quality, the service provided, simplicity, and cost. So we elected in the end to use a service called Ustream and YouTube as the platforms to present this material at the present time. What Ustream does is it provides a live stream of the content. It can archive the material for approximately 25 hours or possibly even more. It also provides the ability to download that content for offline archiving, so we can keep the videos much longer than the 25 hours if we so choose. Software available at a low cost to publish it, and there's really no or a very small recurring cost to provide the service. So our setup, like I was pointing out, the cameras, we have 3-axis cameras around the council chambers here, 2 behind you and one behind the audience. They all present, as you see right here. One presents to the speaker, one presents to the audience and the department heads, or management team, excuse me, and one out also to the council. And there's a close-up view also here of the cameras themselves. And we also have one license of Ustream Producer Studio. That's what's on the clerk's computer here that actually records the meetings and streams them live. We recorded our first meeting after quite a few tests on Monday, May 14th, behind the scenes. We didn't go live. We didn't publish it anywhere. We just wanted to see what it was doing and how it worked. So we found successes, and we also found failures, and that was a good thing about actually doing it offline at first. We've modified the shots and focus. We've learned from preconceived ideas that Brian and I both had and other individuals that we included in the process of what works and what the reality of that is. We recorded again at the June meeting and with these settings and deemed ready to go live. They were finalized and corrected. So here we are today, and we are actually recording the meeting. So here are some example. In the presentation here, I put the links, but in just a moment, I'm just going to pull it up, and I'm going to show you what's actually happening. So this is the first one. As you see, there's a slight delay. As the gentleman and lady who just walked in the room, you can see that they're actually sitting down in what you see, and you can see me pointing back there for a moment. There's about 6 to 8 seconds on that live stream, and this is what anyone can pick up. You can pick it up from most any mobile device, through any computer, desktop, or laptop, just by going to Ustream and finding this. We will also publish on our webpage a link that we do not have published yet, but it will have this video embedded. So without the wrapper that you see with all the ads up at the top and designating Ustream, we'll have this small window down here where Ustream is up in the right-hand corner, and then you see the player controls at the bottom. That will be displayed from our webpage. Afterwards, the meetings will then go over to a YouTube channel, and we will also publish this on the website, and there will also be a link to it. All of our archive meetings that you can see, the June meeting is now out there. We went on and published that from last month because it went appropriate, it was deemed appropriate. And then we have the July meeting. With a couple clicks after this meeting, we'll have this published up to YouTube within about the next hour to 2 hours after the meeting. So what worked? The goals of simplicity and time were met. The goal of multiple delivery points, so we can do it live and we can do it archived. Gives points of participation for our citizens who cannot attend the meetings, and costs were really kept low. What does this allow us for the future? Well, time can be concentrated toward providing more content rather than trying to figure out how we're going to record it and maintain these recordings by public record. Agendas can possibly be linked to highlights and give the same effect of more costly software. We don't have that in place yet, but I am working with Jasmine on how we can accomplish that and make it a little bit easier for everyone that goes to our agenda to view the video parts. Broadcasting and other high-profile events and meetings were applicable, so we can come back and broadcast other items. And in fact, what has happened since this is I presented this material at a conference that I recently went to. And at that conference, we picked up about 3 or 4 people that are actually doing the same thing now, based off of the presentation that I gave. So I was really happy about that because it made me feel good about what we were actually doing. But out of those, they brought up other entry points that I've never thought about. So in the event of a hurricane like last year, there are applications here where we can transmit information from out in the field back in to the Emergency Operations Center at that point in time, so we know what's going on. And if we need to record something for FEMA, which I think would aid in some of the things that we submitted to FEMA this year, we would have recordings of that just simply by taking our mobile devices out in the field. So with that, I'll end, and I'll just ask if you have any questions or suggestions.
I know you got that recorded. How about audio?
It's audio. So it does audio and video. Mm-hmm. And we had a previous software that did audio. It's called FTR. It's short for the record. So we're actually getting rid of that software for that purpose, and this will be our record of audio and video.
Seemed like a real good thing to me.
I hope so. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is public comment. Is Ms. Tyson here? Okay, you can come on up, but I am required by the board board's action several years ago to read this. Public comment period of 30 minutes provides an opportunity for residents to comment on any item included in the agenda or to address town council on any other matter related to the town of Winterville. For an item included in the public hearing section of the agenda, residents to address the council at the time, mayor invites public comment on the item. No public comment may be made during the council meeting, during the meeting, except during the public comment period, or as part of a public hearing. Individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and no more than 3 speakers may address the council on a single matter. The town council may elect to take no action on the matter addressed by the speaker. Thank you. The speaker may schedule the matter for further consideration at a future council meeting, or may refer the matter to town staff for disposition. Copies of the town public comment policy are available in the rear of the assembly room. With that being said, Ms. Valerie Tyson, I want to make a short presentation, and I invited her to come and do that.
Good evening. I'm standing before you just to, I spoke with the mayor, me and the police department and some more citizens of Winterville. We had planned to have a community day on September the 22nd at the the Winterville Towns and Rec, the Recreation Center up with the amphitheater. And what it is basically about is just coming together, building unity in the community, getting to know one another. And it's a free event. We're going to have different things going on that day. We have games and entertainment and free food. And what we're asking as far as advertisement is concerned, the man that owns this sign out in front of the intersection here in Winterville, he has stated that he could give us that sign for $200 from August till the day of the event, which means it would display at least 500 times a day. What I'm asking the town is if they're willing to take on that $200 responsibility to help us promote this day. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions, Ms. Tyson?
Who's your contact person for the sign?
The digital sign out here? Ma'am, is his name Robert Moore, the digital sign?
The digital sign, yes, sir.
Robert
Thank you.
Moore.
Nice.
Okay, I spoke to Chief Wilkes this morning at a meeting, and he advised that he had enough money in his crime prevention funds to cover the $200. So I think that can probably be worked through Officer Boyd and Ms. Tyson.
Yes, sir. We could make that happen. Good idea. Great. I'll make a motion. Chief has money available to donate for the sign. Second.
I didn't hear the motion.
The motion was made to approve payment for the sign.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Robertson
We have a
seconded.
motion. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Councilwoman
Okay.
Robertson.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Tyson.
Thank you.
Mayor and council members, if I could remind everyone just to speak into the microphone a little more so that we could pick up the audio on the video. Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda, or any items that need to be removed? Okay, hearing none, do I hear a motion we approve the consent agenda?
I so move, Mr. Mayor.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Moving on down to item 13 is old business, update on the cemetery committee.
Mayor and council members, last month you all formally created a volunteer cemetery committee. I believe Councilman Cooper was designated as the town's liaison to that committee, and you all were, and ultimately decided collectively to bring back names for volunteers to be appointed to the cemetery committee. And with that said, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Okay, I know Mr. Moore told me he had a couple of names. Anybody else got any names?
My names are Leland Tucker. He has a little experience with the cemetery, which is in the across from South Central, and also Lorena Mosley, Mosley.
I'm assuming they are all residents of Winterville.
In town both.
Okay,
That's one for Mark, one for me.
I'm going to see you after the meeting so I can get some way to contact these people.
One lives across the street from you. Miss
Oh, is that,
Mosley.
okay, all right. I've not met them yet. But I do need the names of any of the other, from the council members, and a contact number where I can go ahead and get this committee started. And I'll see you after the
Are there other nominations to serve on the committee? Hearing none, do I hear a motion we approve these people?
Mrs. Gloria Short, and if Mr. Moy would let me appoint, and Calvin Henderson, you know, we could go together and appoint both of them to the committee.
That was Calvin Henderson and who?
Gloria Short.
That'll be fine.
Okay.
I don't guess we are limited in the number we can be on this
Okay.
committee.
But those two have shown interest in serving.
Okay. Miss Jasmine, would you repeat those, I think, 5 names? Make sure we got them all.
I have 4 names. I have Leland Tucker, Lorena Mosley, Calvin Henderson, and Miss Gloria Short.
Are there others?
Oh, Leland.
Do I hear a motion we approve those?
So moved.
A second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you, members of the board. I appreciate it.
We always can add on if we wanted to a little bit later on.
I don't see any
no
reason why we
problem.
can't.
That is correct. Okay.
Okay. Item number 2 is the approval of the amendment to the Town of Winterville Personnel Policy.
All right, give me just 1 second. During last year's hurricane event, obviously, we had an emergency operations center open, and many of the management team members worked long hours. Well, we discovered during working with FEMA and in an event to try to get reimbursement for some of those hours for not only hourly employees but for non-exempt or for exempt employees, we discovered that we had a problem in the way that our personnel policy was worded. And so what you have before you tonight, currently the policy states, in FEMA declared emergencies, exempt employees may be compensated overtime as approved by the town manager. Well, we've decided that that needs to be worded a little more specifically to state that in a town declared state of emergency or in other extenuating circumstances, exempt employees may be compensated for overtime as approved by the town manager. So staff's asking that the council approve that change in the personnel policy.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for approval. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Okay, item number 3 is the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board for adoption of a revised proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance, Article 6, Section 6.5, special request. Special requirement number 19.
As you will recall, at the May 15th meeting, the council held a public hearing to consider a proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance that had been recommended by the Planning and Zoning Board, and that amendment was to Special Requirement 19, and what the amendment would have done is change the minimum screening height requirement for automobile storage and automobile towing and storage from 8 feet to 6 feet. After holding the hearing, the council unanimously voted that the amendment not be adopted. At the May 21st Planning and Zoning Board meeting, the members held further discussion on the amendment and asked planning staff to consider if there might be any modifications to the amendment that might make the amendment more acceptable to the town council, and asked staff to report back at the June 18th meeting. So again, the planning board held discussion on the amendment at the June 18th meeting and ended up voting to recommend a revised version of the amendment. And the way the amendment or the proposed amendment has been revised is it would change the minimum screening height requirement for automobile storage from 8 feet to 6 feet, but it would leave the requirement for automobile towing and storage at 8 feet. And there's information attached to your agenda packets showing the requirement as it exists, the amendment was previously proposed, and the revised amendment. So if the council is interested in formally considering adoption of the amendment, you would need to hold a public hearing, which could be done at your next meeting if you so desire. If the council has no interest in considering the amendment, then I think you'd simply need an action to say the council is not interested in considering the recommended amendment. The city automotive property, Jarvis Harris for years had a tow truck. How high is that fence? I'm not certain, but I know that existed before I even started working here, so certainly it predates our screening requirements. But I'm not certain. I can certainly find out, but I'm not certain what the height of the fence there is. And all this is because of one property. They keep bringing it back. I'm just concerned over one. The property, the intersection of Reedy Branch and Highway 11 are going to the Board of Adjustments. Monday night?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Tomorrow. I hate it. It looks like we're looking at the one piece of property. Yeah. That's the thing that the specialty that Board of Adjustments takes care of. I, for one, would not like to any changes.
Yeah, I've been by there and looked at that property. With what I'm gonna call them improvements that have been made, it looks 3 times better than it ever looked when it was a
absolutely does
used car facility. And the people that are there, in my opinion, are trying to do what they think is right. And like I said, it looks so much better to me than it ever looked when the other people had it.
From the discussion that I was not at the May meeting when the planning board originally discussed this. Of course, I was at the June meeting. But I think it came about from some of them going by and looking at that specific facility and feeling that the 6 foot for that purpose met the spirit and intent of the ordinance. But as I said, if the council is not interested in a formal consideration or further consideration of this amendment, then I think you should simply take an action to say that. When we saw the photographs, we could see other vehicles, above the 6 foot high fence, and therefore you're lowering it. I used to rent to a towing service at one time, and I was required by the county to have an 8 foot fence, which I do have on that piece of property. I make a motion we might make a change.
Have a motion not to make a change. Is there a second?
A second.
I have a question. If we don't make this change, they're going before the Board of Adjustment. And if we don't make this change, if the Board of Adjustment does not have a favorable decision, then they would be required to do what? Add 2 feet to their fence. And I see that this business has tried to abide by the rules. They put the fence up. They put the stripping in it to make it opaque. And I really think that they've made, and good faith effort to try to work with the neighbors and any problems that they had. And if we do it for one and we do it for everybody, then we're treating everyone just the same. So if we were to have a public hearing on it and adopt it as an ordinance, then it would be fair to everybody.
Okay. We have a motion and a second not to, I'm going to use the term proceed any further, so.
And if it doesn't go through next week, let's bring it back.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Mr. Mayor, I still don't fully understand. Are you saying, Ms. Robinson, that you're asking for a public hearing?
It's my understanding if it goes before the Board of Adjustments and they make I'll use the term positive ruling on it, then it would have to have a public hearing. But is that correct?
No, if it goes to Board of Adjustments, it's approved anyway. If they approve it, Board just approve it. But if they don't approve it, let's bring it back next month and then have a public hearing if they don't approve it. I just made a motion to not bring it up next month. My motion is not to do it this time.
Not to proceed further. Councilman Moy seconded that. Okay. Councilman Robertson, I believe you were at least asking him or talking about the public hearing.
Yeah.
And my feeling is see what happens.
If I might, Mayor and council members, obviously if you address an ordinance change, it should be, as you well know, with the mindset of any and all businesses or situations that would fall under this change, as opposed to the business in question has applied for a variance, I believe. Is it a variance, Alan? And they are having their day before the Board of Adjustment next week to address their issue.
My concern is, the property at CDs. And, all these years you had behind somebody's house a 6-foot high fence. And if somebody came back there, you have to, would they have went out of business, would you have to have to change it?
Well, if they went out of business for 180 days, that use could not go back in place there. It's a non-conforming residentially zoned property.
When Jarvis Harris died, how long before Mr. Rouse?
It was a short period. I mean, it was not 180 days.
So what I'm hearing is if they pass that, the Harris property, I'm going to call it, has got to have a fence, and he's got 4 sides. He'd have to fence in and put.
No, we would not go back and make any grandfather property comply. It would just be new occurrences that would have to comply.
How about the storage unit behind the place on Highway 11? How high is that fence? They have a lot of junk vehicles in the back of their property.
There again, I'm not certain, but there again, that storage facility goes back to this current zoning ordinance. It was actually put there as a conditional use, and they did require the bushes out front for screening and on the side.
But the ordinance is different from wrecked vehicles than it is for storage vehicles, storing vehicles, right? So basically, in B, it says that, that's previously recommended. Okay.
The ordinance says if you have over a certain amount of wrecked vehicles, you become basically a salvage or automobile graveyard, and there are some new requirements that come into place in that case. Like a minimum 3-acre site and only allowed in an industrial district.
For instance, if you wanted to build anything behind the facility on Highway 11 along Chapman Street, look at how bad it looks, the back of that facility. Much worse than the facility at the intersection we're talking about at Reed Branch Road and Highway 11. Have y'all noticed on Chapman Street how bad it looks?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
but a lot of those are junk vehicles. I don't want to say junk, but they're vehicles that look like they're not going to be repaired.
Right.
I'll say they're not. I guess we call them.
But there's no screening there, though, at all.
Yeah. I agree.
We've changed a lot since then. For instance, if a commercial use were going adjacent to a residentially zoned property, now they would have to buffer, even if it's not a junk car place, if it's a certain types of businesses, period, at this point in time, if they were locating adjacent to residential property, there's a whole new layer of requirements that would have to be met. But screening, landscaping, architectural standards for the building. So we've really beefed up, modernized our ordinance since the time some of the things we're talking about were put in place.
When we looked at putting a school in Winneville, we looked at that site and took the committee over there and they saw the back of that automotive facility. It's not conducive unless they clean their place up. And again, they look their place looks much worse than the facility at the intersection of Reedy Branch and Highway 11.
So we're talking about 6 feet for storage and 8 feet for junk yards, salvage yards, and scrap processing places.
Yeah, that's what the amendment as now proposed by the planning board would do. All of the other uses under special requirement 19 would continue to be a minimum of 8 feet. Simple automobile storage would be 6 feet instead of 8 feet as proposed by the planning board.
I'm very much in favor of having the public hearing, and then we can be through this issue next month. You know.
Will we have a motion and a second? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Aye.
I think it
3-1.
3-1.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on the new business, approval of an interlocal agreement with Pitt County on the 700 megahertz radio system.
Mayor and council members, during our budget process, and you all through the approval of the budget funded for the fire, public works, and electric departments to switch over to the county's new 700 megahertz radio system. That should be coming in the very near future. This is due to the fact that the FCC is narrow banding VHF radio systems. That's the radio system we currently have. And as a result, most of our equipment is not capable of being narrow banded. Having said that, the county has sent us and asked us to approve an interlocal agreement for their what they call subscriber fee and the use of the 700 megahertz radio system. In your packet, you have a copy of the agreement that outlines the duties and responsibilities of both parties. It includes a subscriber fee to be paid by the town to the county of $120 per radio per year. That equates to $10 per month per radio. The term of the agreement is for an initial 1-year period with automatic renewals of 1 year for a total of 10 years. I believe the town attorney has got or has a couple of very minor changes that he would like to work with the county attorney on. Nothing of major proportions, but having said that, staff would recommend approval of the agreement, including any town attorney changes.
And she's exactly correct. She provided me with a copy of the interlocal agreement. I've reviewed it. One clarification and one addition, if you will, some additional language I'd like to have added to it. Traded phone calls with Ms. Gallagher, the county attorney. We haven't spoken. I don't think it's substantive. I would guess it should be no problem, but she and I haven't had a chance to speak about it yet.
What is have you seen agreements with Aden and Farmville yet? Or Bethel?
This type of interlocal agreement, I actually don't think, and I've spoken with Mr. Moore about this agreement too, I think the only, there's a proposal for this interlocal agreement with the hospital and is it the city of
Greenville?
City of Greenville Public Works. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the hospital might not have gone through. So there's not any interlocal exactly like this one, but
we've just been the only municipality that's going to do this.
Well, again, Greenville has their own system, and we are the only other municipal fire department in this county. truly, totally municipal.
Farmville's not municipal.
Everybody else has a volunteer rural district, I believe, that they cover, or they are totally rural, and they're working in a different capacity with the county.
Was this slighted toward us?
I won't say slighted toward us, but we don't have a rural district, and we don't have any coverage outside of our immediate corporate limits, so therefore, we are different. And we're paying for our own equipment.
Yeah, Bethel only too recently, they can receive some money from the county for their, and so the rural area also, the rural tax first.
Winterville did too. Rules did. Winterville rules did.
Again, aside from Greenville, we're the only strictly municipal fire department. So we are different than everyone else.
So you want to recommend approval?
I do recommend
So moved.
approval.
Second.
With the
Subject,
Minor
if you
county-
would, subject
Thank
to the minor revisions we might have with the county attorney.
Who did my motion?
Okay, thank you.
Did I hear a motion?
Yes, I made a motion.
Second?
Yes.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I remember, if I remember correctly, Chief Moore stated that our present equipment, when this stuff goes online, it'll be useless. Isn't that about the way it is?
Well, and we do, and of course, the Public Works and the Electric Department are included in our agreement, and they'll be purchasing radios as well.
And I was at the town board meeting in Bethel last month, and they did not bring up this at all. It just seems like a penalty against our town, but
It is.
why should we have to do this? No other municipality does it. Is it because I know they added additional tax to the rural, and
I know that, I know that, and Chief Moore, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that most of the, all of the other departments that have the volunteer rule component are receiving their radios at little to no cost.
Pardon? But not for us. Well, I think the county's being just like me. The county is going to come and inspect my home this coming Thursday, and I did no additions to my home. Now, there's a house 2 doors down from here. I shared our town manager. It looks terrible for 2 years. No building permit, period. I didn't add anything to my home, period. Now, it took a county commissioner to request that they come to my home and inspect my home inside. Is this get back because we want to have a building inspection? Is that get back?
I don't think. No, I think, unfortunately.
I'm glad to show my home. I'm very proud of it. It's on the internet. You can go on the internet and you can see every room in the house. It does have an unusual bathroom I didn't put in, a step-up bathroom, which is so small that I'm glad I've lost weight. But the guy who owned the house before, my wife's uncle, he was a carpenter. He taught carpentry in Durham. Very innovative gentleman. He had his own wood shop. He built lots of furniture, and he did a lot of creative things. And the bathroom was very creative in an older house. Because the house was built, it didn't have bathrooms in the house. Anyway.
I wanted Chief Moore to come up and make sure that what I was saying was accurate, but we are paying for, and I believe, obviously, Greenville Public Works and Farmville Public Works would be paying for their.
Oh, their Public Works. Their
radios
Public
as
Works
well.
are paying that, yes.
Could you announce let us know exactly what it's going to cost us per year?
Almost exactly what you approved in the budget.
$180,000.
I don't have the budget book here with me.
It's approximately $180,000.
And that's and then a renewal. You say every year.
$120 per radio.
And how many radios we have?
Just over 50 for all 3 departments.
I have faith in you and the town manager, and that we're doing the right thing.
We'd love to be able to come and say that we didn't have to purchase the radios, that we were getting a similar deal. We are getting the county pricing that they've negotiated with Motorola, but unfortunately, we do have to buy all of ours.
How about if you have phones? It's cheap, isn't it?
Well, we can get dispatched with phones through 911, so.
Thank you.
Not a lot of choices for us at this juncture.
There seems to be a lot of things that's not quite equal
It does seem like.
when it
you know,
comes to the
smaller-
county and the municipalities, and we got our county commissioner sitting over there.
And I'm glad he's here.
But it,
Here. It's like the library, only $3,000 for the library. I'm looking forward to the new contract we have,
We are working on that as we speak.
because we didn't receive any kind of report of how many people use the library.
We're supposed to be getting all of that. I've requested all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm concerned, that here we are paying, in most municipalities, you do a survey, in North Carolina, do not pay for the libraries, but we did do this on good faith. Shepherd, and we have a wonderful library, and I just saw the news about the new computers. 18 new ones, I believe.
I think so. And I think that was mostly from a grant.
And I'm glad the citizens have that use of the facility.
And what we have in place right now, are we going to salvage those, or we're all planning on using what we already have again? Is that correct?
Are you asking about radios?
Yes.
Most of the radios we currently have are on the VHF system. They would not be able to be narrow banded. So any that we are not able to use, I would certainly suggest and probably ask permission that we surplus those and see if we can.
After we make sure the new system.
Well, obviously. Right.
So we are planning on doing, okay.
Trying to recoup some cost if we can.
Okay, moving on down to the item number 15. Are there any other agenda items?
Mr. Mayor and members of the board, if you will allow me just a couple of minutes. When I was out knocking on doors and running for this job, I talked about the economy in Winterville. I was very concerned about it. Some of the citizens that I talked to was also concerned. Since then, I'm 6 months into the job, and I've talked with several citizens in that 6-month period and a couple of merchants. And I would like to create a line item on the budget with monies already in place for the economic development line item. And that would only mean something simple like hiring a professional company to come in and do a video of our town, what we have to offer, our close proximity to I-95, the beach, the hospital, the trauma center, East Carolina University, Pitt Community College, and what we have to offer here. There is a trade show once a year in Nevada, and I would recommend that we commission our town manager, Ms. Parker, and to take this video and sell our town and try to bring businesses to the town of Winterville. And the mechanics, there's some mechanics that need to be worked out, and at that point I would ask Ms. Parker, she and I talked this morning, and she'd be willing to address the board on that part of it, if you would, Ms. Parker.
Yes, sir. Councilman Cooper asked me about economic development. It's an ongoing discussion that I've had with some of you individually, and certainly we've talked about it at our retreats. I think it's certainly something staff's ready to pursue, and we can certainly try to make the direction happen that the council decides that they want to move forward and pursue. It is extremely important, though, that until you all officially and formally, at least a majority of you, state the type of economic development you're interested in and give us the direction that you want us to pursue, it will be difficult to do some of these things. So I might suggest that potentially, I know that you all have talked with Electricities and some of their folks, that we might have a workshop to try to hash out, if you will, some of the specifics that you'd like to see in a program. But other than that, certainly you let us know what you'd like to see, and we're certainly willing to work towards that endeavor. And when I say direction, I mean you have industrial, you have commercial retail, you have downtown redevelopment. We have some areas that we need to really try to hone in on and decide where you'd like to spend your resources.
Well, if you come in Winterville off Highway 11 on Main Street, that's the worst, one of the worst streets in the county. You know, my people ride the streets in the county, and I do too. Okay, that street we thought was going to be paved has not been paved.
It's scheduled to be this summer.
Second, you're going to hear in the near future that Aden Grifton and Farmville both those schools went far beyond the other high schools in the county in their performance this past year. Then I'd like to encourage each of you to take a ride around A.G. Cox. And the maintenance of that school facility is an embarrassment next to our beautiful park. And if we could cut our grass, our county schools should be able to cut their grass. They have killed grass where you shouldn't kill, and they've let it grow up knee high. I don't know why the county puts no doesn't put anything on in how that school looks on the outside. Just something simple as cutting the grass. And that's my 2 cents worth. Schools, people come to the schools, and two educators right here side by side. I'm not as long in education as she's been in education, but it's key. The growth of the school, the progress of the schools. And it's going to come out soon. I met with the principal at Aiden Grifton today, and they're very proud. They had a celebration at Farmville, how well their schools did this year. And I couldn't say the same for ours.
Mr. Moore and I never agree. I think, when I think about economic development, I think about the things that are good, the things that our community is doing well. And I see, our parks, of course,
Absolutely.
That's a bright spot.
Both of them.
We have shown our interest in recreation by the amount of money that we allocate to it. Our downtown district, right now we had someone to lead, and I know I've talked to Ms. Avery, and there are about 2 or 3 people who are ready to, who already are interested in that. I do believe that there's room for improvement as far as some of the things that we do around town, but I think we got a lot of good things that we can put out there to market our community, to show that it is a slice of the good life, as we like to say. And I would like to see us do some economic development. I've been talking, I talked to Bill, and Terry knows I've worn her ear out with it, talking about it. And I agree with Mr. Cooper. I think that we can. I think we can develop something, whether it's I get them mixed up, CD, DVD, whatever, with the good things we got. We got our operations center. We got our streets and the things that we talk about. We talk about how clean our community is. We talk about those things. And our numbers, crime rate is not terrible, I don't think, So, I think that we got a lot of things that we are already shining stars about that we could put out there, and it may bring some people to our communities. I was fortunate enough to attend a session, and I've talked to the town manager in Aden about what they were doing with economic development several years ago, and I was quite impressed. But it's not it's the things that he talked about were not things that we can't do here in Winterville. So I'm like Mr. Cooper. I agree with you. I'd like to see us do some more marketing of our community.
Thank you.
I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Do something to market our town, but I just wish the simple things that should be done would be done. It took us 10 years to finish Main Street, and not quite done yet. We should all jump up and down and dance when it's repaved.
I think it was mentioned this morning in a meeting that we need to look at doing some, I'm going to call it internet selling of the town. Come up with a web page or something, because I forgot who it was, Brad or who it was mentioned it. Now when a company is looking to expand, they're not going to start traveling. They're going to go to that computer.
And like Robert's down there, I'm proud that is finally in use. It's probably the best thing we've done, or the county's done for us, to help us with the jobs it supplies.
Okay.
Well, I'm asking if I can, Mr. Mayor, that we'd have a work session with the board, that we could, here tonight, go ahead and set a date for that work session and get something moving.
If I might suggest, there has been some conversation. I don't know if you all want to try to formally address that, but maybe canceling the regular meeting for August. You might could have a work session. You don't have to do one and do the other. You could do both towards the end of August, after the Watermelon Festival, to try to get together and hash out some directives and ideas of how you'd like to move forward. That's just a suggestion.
I don't have a calendar in front of me. Anybody got
Let's
a?
see.
You got one there, I bet you.
I don't know how the last week of August, the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, or 31st works for everyone sometime during that week.
I won't be here that week.
You won't be here?
What do you mean?
Oh.
Need to keep in mind when that Electric Cities
That's right.
conference will be.
That's going to be the 8th.
23rd, 24th, 25th, Jasmine, the Electricities.
No, this is 8th.
Oh, it's early. Blah, that's Watermelon Festival, I think. Blah.
August 10th is
Right,
Everybody,
9th, 11th.
I think all the board members are going to the Electric City Conference. That's August the 8th. There's going to be a good economic development program there, and I encourage everyone to attend that. Also, Electric Cities was down here a few weeks ago, and the Vice President of Electric Cities wanted to know what our concerns were. And economic development was one thing we talked about. They would like to come back after the annual meeting. It's around the 20th, and meet with the council and bring some presentations down of what other cities are doing, how they do their economic development. And I encourage any and everybody to attend that. I'll get you more information out after the annual meeting, but at the annual meeting they have got some good economic development seminars that we have, and I encourage everybody to take advantage of that. And like I say, after that meeting, when we get back, Electric Cities and the Vice President and the group that does economic development for Electric Cities would like to come down and sit down with the board.
That would be great.
So that's what y'all's preference is. Just throw it out.
How about the fracking bill? I mean, not the fracking bill, but the water, taking out Aqua. How's that come along?
I hadn't heard of another hearing yet, so evidently they're studying it.
It's costing every individual in the East
Everybody that drinks
water
is
because,
paying for that.
and they're going to take water out. If we can't take water out, they can take water out.
9 million gallons a
And
day.
how much they
They
going to
just-
pay for it? They should be paying us, shouldn't they?
They
Martin
should.
Marietta should pay us to take,
Hopefully we get that where they have to serve us as water for us to drink rather than dumping it back into the river.
Maybe we should look at maybe the 1st of September, since we got the Watermelon Festival, we got Electric Cities,
Okay.
and for this economic meeting.
And you were saying that the Electric City, the managers were going to come back the last part of August?
Yes, I want to say it's around the 20th of August, but when we go to Electric City's annual meeting, we can confirm that date. That's what works for y'all the best. But they want to come to Vice President, and I think there's 3 people in the economic development that has done Aden, Greenville, and they do all the cities' videos. I think that's what Ms. Robinson was referring to a few minutes ago.
Marvin, I'm sure they'd be amenable to something the first part of September if that's what the council.
If that's what they want, I'm sure we can get a date in there. And y'all tell me what time you want to do it. We can. I'm sure we can work it out.
The first week in September starts on the 3rd.
What day is that on?
That's Monday, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
How about Tuesday the 4th?
It's right after Labor Day, right?
Fine with that.
That's right after Labor Day?
Yes, sir.
That'll be fine.
When is Labor Day?
Okay.
It's always the first Monday.
Yeah.
Right. Should be.
September 3rd, Monday. Because the following Monday we meet, have a regular meeting.
Right. Councilwoman Robertson.
The
is that
4th good?
I don't know.
You wanna
4th sounds all right to
Tentatively
me.
set the 4th?
6 or 7?
You all name a
6
time,
be fine.
6?
6.
Okay.
Do y'all want to try to have Electric Cities at that meeting? What time would you like to have that meeting?
6.
6.
6 o'clock? Okay, I'll make contact with Electric Cities
I'll send you an email.
and see if that date's available for them.
Okay.
September the 4th.
September 4th.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marvin.
Okay. Well, Are there other agenda items? Okay, moving on down for future agendas or future work sessions. I think maybe just covered all that.
Rescue squad,
Okay.
the status of the building inspection. Rescue services. I know they service outside Winterville also. Is the police department still using the old rescue squad building,
No, sir.
Chapman Street?
No, sir.
What's happened to that building?
I think the EMS board is contemplating the future of that particular building.
What kind of future are you looking at? The neighbor across the street loves that house being gone. She's a
Good.
status. She's a rural mail carrier,
Oh,
and it looks beautiful. Harvey Joyner is a pleased guy.
okay.
He's really happy the house is gone. It's a good lifetime.
Okay. Starting with reports, Chief Wilkes, we'll start with you. Chief Moore.
Fire department, thank you all.
Looks kind of vacant down there with Tom gone.
Oh, yeah. Got to feel a bit of absenteeism there. We should all call him tomorrow. We missed him. We do miss him.
Oh, we do miss him, and we anticipate we'll see him.
Entertaining. Nice guy.
Submitted my monthly report.
Anybody report on Tom's party? Did anybody go to his retirement party?
A good time was had by all.
Yeah,
Was it?
Very nice, very good.
sure did.
Okay. We won't skip Miss Jasmine.
Just a reminder, the Electricity's Conference is August the 9th
Right.
through the 11th,
Thursday.
Thursday through Saturday.
4 o'clock check-in time. Nice facilities.
And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Counselor?
Mayor, just two brief reports. The sidewalk project, sidewalk going on Ainge and Kennedy, there's 10 lots, 10 homes where the sidewalk's going in. I'm sorry, 11. 10 of those, the title work's been done, the easement's been prepared. The one that remains is property located on Kennedy Street. It's the property owned by the heirs of Pleasant Cox Worthington. I've done some preliminary title work. Miss Pleasant has an estate file at the courthouse from 1989. In that estate file, I think there was 11 or 12 heirs identified. I've worked with and met with Mr. Henderson, Calvin Henderson. He's one of the heirs, and he's working with me on locating the additional heirs, if you will. We're probably going to find about 20 to 25 heirs, maybe a few more. And I've related to Mr. Henderson that it's usually my recommendation to the board that the heirs would get them to sign an easement that gives us the authority to place the sidewalk on their property. I think everybody recognizes that the sidewalk will be a plus to the property, and certainly Mr. Henderson's very much in favor of it, but we, of course, need to get all the people to sign. So I'm working with him on that. He's going to get me a list of some additional heirs, and we'll take her from there. I just wanted you to know that's the one easement that's left. Also, just by way, I'm maybe stealing somebody else's thunder, but the Patricia Waller property back here behind us, I know everybody's seen the construction that went on over the last week. The College Park Baptist Church, plus the Grifton Mission Ministries, plus many other volunteers that were there working over what was we all know, a very hot week last week. I believe that's correct to say they're on schedule. They got to where they wanted to get. I think they wanted to sheetrock inside and didn't get there. But the house is buttoned up, closed up, so the rain that came today did not affect the interior. I think the idea is over the next couple of weeks that Grifton Mission Ministries will complete the interior and hope to have the house done in the next couple of weeks. But
Are they going to tear down the house in front of it?
Yes, sir. Once they get the new house completed, the part of the project cost will be to demolish and remove the existing
Has
home.
anyone said anything about the house that's over to the west that's got an additional garage that's not completed?
I don't know that's been part of the discussion at
And
this
it's
point in
embarrassing
time.
that garage is put together board by board or whatever.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
out.
two doors down from my town hall. And, you know, when the county comes to visit with me Thursday, I want to point that out to them. I have no additions outside of my house except my fence, and the fence is legally. And I reminded me, I said, I used to be a building inspector. I know the laws, you know, and I did my research on it too. If I have to have an attorney, I said, you're going to come to me, nothing outside my house, take away my valuable time. I told him tomorrow I'll be in Jacksonville most of the day. Today I was in Pitt County. I'll be in 3 other counties on Wednesday. But I'm going to take a day out to meet with them on Thursday. But I'm going to take them down here and say, look, this house here, you let... Okay.
I just, there was also a nice article in the paper today. I'm sure all of you saw that about
It was nice.
subject to your questions. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Moore?
Wonderful 4th of July. I'm sorry I missed Tom, but I do.
Well, we missed you.
I surely do miss Tom Harwell and his job he did for us. And I'm thankful that Mr. Commissioner Garris comes to our meetings. I don't mean to beat on him. He is a very good friend of mine. He's in my wife's family. Very dedicated commissioner. No other commissioner is as dedicated as you have been to this board. You commended for that. I do appreciate it.
Ms. Robertson?
Well, I was on site just about every day last week, so I got really hot out
Is
there.
it hammer?
Well, they don't let me. I don't try because my nails were probably going straight. But I, you know, they were very appreciative for the town officials that went up there. They told me every day, you know, we had county officials there. Mr. Garris was there probably 2 or 3 times last week. I couldn't stay long when I went because of the heat. But it really did, you know, it really was what we had experienced last summer when they came to Winterville, that same hospitality. Our fire department let them have the building. Cisco Foods catered a meal for them. And so, you know, they opened up everything for them. Our attorney came on the site. I saw lots of people were on site, and I know some of you I missed. And I do appreciate that because that does show our community in a very, very good light. Those are the kinds of things that we got that are already good. Ms. Valerie Tyson left, but she initiated this with our police chief. And our police chief and Officer Boyd and Officer Raby, we've met twice on this community day, and we really hope that it will be a big thing and bring our community together. And I do appreciate the effort that they're putting into that. And Mr. Caton, I noticed right there in front of his house, he has a cooler out there with cold water in it. And lots of people that traverse that street walking. Appreciate that. That's it.
I'm going to say the best for last, which is
Oh,
you.
my goodness.
Oh, the only thing I'd like to commend the electric department for the bellwether that we had a couple weeks ago. I have not been in the dark yet. I just want to say that the improvement that we have made, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I'd like to commend you guys on an outstanding job and the great outlook that you had to bring us up to where we're at today. I'm not just separating the other department. The other department doing a great job too, but I tell you, that's a bad feeling when you are in the dark and you can't see anything and you got bad weather out there. And our electric department has done an excellent job. I just want to commend them.
Can I say one more thing? I'd like to thank Angela for her coverage of the project and her coverage of our little town and our little stuff here in Winterville. Because the news leader, the Times leader, does do a good job in promoting our community also.
Okay, and also I'd like to say that the budget, you did an excellent job on the budget this year, and on our iPad has been very challenged. But I learn something all the time on it, and when I have a question, I have to do but pick up the phone and call. And They always coach me along. And fire department, you guys know where you at. You guys keep right on doing, and police department doing a great job too. You guys doing an excellent job. So I don't want to miss out. No department. And the code enforcers, keep up the good work. Keep them cars and these property. We do have some properties still that we need to look at also that have grown up and it's still growing. I did mention about it in our last meeting, and I think we're still having some problem about contacting the owners so we can get something done about them. But I would like to have something done about those properties that we have behind A.G. Cox School. Not A.G. Cox, I mean W.H. Robinson School. So, job well done. Thank you. Each department.
You mentioned the electrical department.
Yes.
After talking to Mr. Taylor this morning, would like to nominate Mr. Moy to come down and receive the complaints that we're going to get next month from the utility bills.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes, sir. First of all, King Lester, thank you very much. A couple of times I had to ask you some questions in the last month since the last meeting. I appreciate your input and straightening me out on a couple of things. Just real short, that sidewalk I did not want, that I had nothing to do with. It's in, it's beautiful. I'm glad it's there. It adds to the community, but I still had nothing to do with that sidewalk. Thank you.
I noticed that sidewalk that your neighbor has their sidewalk goes out to the street.
Yeah.
That's a little unique.
I think it's great.
Yeah, oh, yes.
The only thing I have, I was not at the last board meeting. I was on a business trip out in Missouri, but I understand it was mentioned that we might not have a board meeting in August. What is that the board's pleasure? According to Ms. Parker, there's not a very large number of items at this time, and I know in the past we have canceled meetings.
And since we're all going to be at Electric Cities anyway, together talking then, I make a motion we suspend, not meet in August.
We have a motion not to have a board meeting in August.
You made that motion.
But a workshop.
Then I move that we do not meet in August.
Well, we have a motion, and you want to second?
I'll second that motion.
All in discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. As I said, I saved the best for last.
Oh, my
Ms.
goodness.
Parker.
Thank you, Mayor. I did want to thank all of the employees that had to work under more than unusual circumstances with the heat last week, both those outside and in. There were some specific challenges that came along with that, so I wanted to say thanks. Nobody hurt anybody else, and everybody's attitude was pretty good, so I appreciate that. I would also like to remind the council that we do have a quick closed session.
Hearing that, do I hear a motion we adjourn this open session?
So moved.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay. I knew how to cut this thing off.
You did. Very proud. Very proud.